Okay, so in this video, I'm going to be performing an analysis on healthcare versus real estate. Okay, so I mean, if you want to build wealth, we all know at this point that we need to acquire cash flow producing assets using debt. Because when you use debt to acquire cash flow producing assets, you get to maintain control of those companies or assets that you acquire. When you use investor capital or equity financing, they are the ones going to have the control, and you will have a very small portion of equity in the company. So to keep ownership, we use debt and we acquire cash flow producing assets. And it's a very common practice towards wealth building, and this channel is about business, finance and wealth building. So if you want to evaluate what do you want to get into, you have a couple of options. One of them is to go into real estate, which is very common, and many people have gone into real estate. It's getting more and more popular, and you want to get a little bit aware of things that get a little too popular to a point where everybody's doing it. Okay, so we'll compare real estate versus healthcare, which is better and which has more potential to produce big numbers. So let's look at industry size. Healthcare, I'm giving you an estimated number. It's around, market cap is around $11 trillion, between 11 and 13. Now the market cap, really nobody knows what is it, because there are always unreported numbers that cannot be accounted for in this. But it's roughly around $11 trillion. It's one of the most essential businesses. It has something to do with human body, and it's a very premium service. And you know, it's a service business, and the margins tend to be extremely high. So healthcare definitely beats real estate on profit margins, and it also beats real estate in market cap. Okay, so you know, clearly, and also if you compare real estate with healthcare, there are not a lot of people doing healthcare acquisitions. I know this model is also getting popular, but even if you account for all of the people who are trying to get into it or doing it, compared to the market size, market is very, very big. But if you look at real estate, probably your parents, even yourself, you own some piece of real estate. It doesn't need a lot of expertise to start off with some small units, and you know, and the barrier to entry is very low with real estate. But with healthcare, you need so many skills. And with mergers and acquisitions, the whole thing gets very technical. And because of those technical gaps that people don't have, there is very low competition when it comes to buying cash flow producing assets in healthcare versus real estate. With real estate, the margin is less, is much smaller. Healthcare, you can expect 20 to 40% profit margins. With real estate, I think it's about 15 ish. I will have to confirm it. I'm not an expert on real estate, full disclosure, but it's much less than healthcare. I know that for sure. The other aspect is, when you're acquiring an asset, you're not acquiring because you want to hold it. You're acquiring so that you want to flip it at some point. You're acquiring several assets and you want to take these assets and then exit at some point. This is the case with real estate. This is the case with healthcare. Is you getting into the business to acquire, buy, hold and sell. You're not there to buy and hold. All right. In real estate, some people do buy and hold, but if you're buying a real estate and it's leveraged with cash, especially if the margins are low, then you don't have a lot of cash flow. You have to buy a lot of properties to have a significant amount of cash flow. When it comes to healthcare, you have a significant amount of cash flow, even if you leverage it with the banks. And because the cash flow is more, the debt can be paid sooner and you will have more cash with yourself. So one aspect is cash flow of the business. The other aspect is the value of that asset. How it grows over time. Now, if you take 8 to 10 healthcare companies and combine them together, you can sell it for double price in a few years' time, because a healthcare group, how it's valued, and a single unit healthcare, how it's valued, is totally different. So healthcare businesses, and typically in M&A, the appreciation of the asset, the growth rate of the appreciation on the asset is extremely high. And that's not the case with real estate. Real estate grows slowly, okay, over time, over 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. That's why you will notice that a lot of the people who get into the real estate, if they started at 40, they really get rich when they are 60. 50s and 60s is where people from real estate really make a lot of money. Now, I'm not talking about brokerage firms and things like that, and obviously there are going to be exceptions where much younger people have also done it. But typically the appreciation happens gradually, and you have to keep buying a lot of real estate to produce cash flow. And most of the real estate cash flow is going to be leveraged with the bank, and there's going to be very little cash flow that you will have available. So really, acquiring asset is an appreciation business where the value of the property or the value of the asset goes up significantly, and you sell, and you buy low and you sell high. And in that context, if you compare real estate with healthcare, you will find healthcare is much more feasible, and there is much more growth potential. But obviously, to do these deals in healthcare, you need to put the right team in place before that. You need a finance person, you need an operations person, you need a legal person, you need an accounting person, and all of these have to work together, and they have to be extremely experienced, and they have to be at the top of the game, and you need to know how to manage these individuals, find the right assets, negotiate the deal right, acquire it at the right price, structure it right with the bank, raise the money on the right terms. So there are a lot of moving parts, and even to manage a healthcare business is different than managing a property. All those are operational aspects that you can consider. But if you talk about finance and financially speaking, healthcare makes a better case. You can see even the big tycoons of real estate like Grant Cardone, he's also getting into healthcare now. Why is that? Why did he make that transition? And in one of his videos, he mentioned if he had to go back, he would start off with healthcare. There is one interview where I was watching where he said, I'll directly go into healthcare. And I had one senior partner from Big Four accounting firm who told me once, Prithvi, I wasted my time in the energy sector. Some people also believe oil and gas is great, because one of the largest companies in the world for a long time was Aramco. It's an oil and gas company based in Saudi Arabia. It was bigger than Apple, bigger than any company. Now it's, I think, second or third or fourth, but for a long time it was the largest company in the world. And that's the reason many people say oil and gas, and oil is very essential commodity, but oil price goes like this. It's very volatile. And the margins on these energy companies is not a lot. So he told me, Prithvi, I wasted my time in energy. I should have gone straight into healthcare. So many people realize this at the end of their life, that healthcare is a feasible industry to get into if you want to get rich and acquire several assets and sell it at a significantly higher price. But if you just do a basic analysis, what can I sell? What's the price I can buy this on? And what's the price I can sell this on in how much time? In 5 to 7 years, if I buy a bunch of assets in healthcare, for what price can I sell it? And how can I finance it, and the numbers and the economics of it all? And if I do the same thing in real estate, how much appreciation can I expect of my wealth? So, and then when you exit, you will have to pay the bank for the financing. You will have to pay the taxes if you are planning to keep this money when it comes to real estate. So there are several factors that you need to understand when it comes to appreciation. How will the real estate asset, several assets that I acquire, what will be the valuation when I exit, and what will be the case in healthcare, and which is better? Which has bigger margins? Which companies can I acquire at a lower price? The price for real estate can be, high, and the loan periods are much longer compared to healthcare. To acquire a healthcare company, you can structure a 5-year loan. Real estate deals sometimes can go to 10-year, 15-year, 20-year. So you still have a lot of debt that you will need to pay. Even if you sell the asset early, before the loan cycle, you will still have a significant portion of the debt that you will have to pay out of the money that you receive. And so there are a lot of technical aspects. I'm not going to get into that, but if you look at a general overview, healthcare versus real estate, healthcare is going to win. Now, you may like real estate, that's your personal choice. You may find it interesting, that's your personal choice. And but you got to do the numbers, and wherever the numbers are most attractive, in my personal opinion, you should position yourself there when it comes to industry. So that's the video, an analysis between healthcare and real estate. So I'll talk to you soon.